Good morning, class. I am Antonia Cifuentes and my classmate Clara Montero. Today, we are going to talk about critical discourse analysis, discourse, and racism. But wait, before we start, do you know anything about racism or critical discourse analysis? Please take a few moments to think about this question and let's continue. Probably you have more knowledge about what racism is, but the definition according to the dictionary considers racism is a belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial difference produces an inherent superiority of a particular race. What is commonly seen towards people of different skin color, different culture, belief, etc. And CDA, or critical discourse analysis, is a type of research that focuses on analysis mainly studies the way where abuse of power and inequality are represented, reproduced, and legitimized and resist in text and speech in context, social and political issues. With this research, dissident critical analysis of the speech, they take an explicit position and, in the way, seek to understand, expose, and fundamentally challenge abuse of power and social inequality. But what is the relationship between racism and CDA, or critical discourse analysis? Critical discourse analysis, it is a kind of review that studies the relationship between discourse, cognition, and society, with which the ways in which hegemonic groups control text and context, and consequently the minds of people, that macro and micro dimensions of social structure where such discursive control manifests itself, and their most prominent forms of domination, such as abuse of power and social inequality. There are some main points of critical discourse analysis. CDA has various ideas in various language structures. CDA, or critical discourse analysis, is focused on political issues, and critical discourse analysis is looking for strategies for news production, for knowledge and news, and for a schema for news reporting. Okay, to continue with the explanation about critical discourse analysis, according to Aslan Jig 1988, Linder Green-Lerman 1983, and Gans 1979, race, controlling speech, or gender or other properties, the communicative situation. Powerful groups can control various aspects of text, of discourse and speech structures. Therefore, who control the topics and who change them is crucial in any speech or discourse and communication, as happens when publishers decide which new topics will be covered in the media, or what happens when teacher decides which topic will cover in classes. Similarly, publishers and they can prioritize negative topics in relation to the minorities, as immigrants, people to other culture, to other religion, in the media urban news about the racisms of the white elite. This is also one of the reasons why the critical discourse analysis can be characterized as a social movement of political engaged discursive analysis.
As we saw, the main function of the CDA is to focus on a moral problem of society, and one of them are the racism. We can see a lot of racism, principally in political discourses. In Latin America, we can see that mainly when it comes to speaking native peoples. If we talk of Chile, we can see that presidents most of the time talk of native people badly, and they think that they are terrorists and want to kill and broke things. The racist discourse is a discriminatory social practice that is shown both in text, as in speech and communication, and along with other discriminatory non-verbal practices, contribute to the continuum of racism as a form of discrimination. But how can we use CDA? We can use CDA in school to teach kids values and all deserves respect and kindness. For that, I personally think we need to use it for teaching. It is a fact that children repeat everything they heard, and one of the principal racism discourses are of political, and we have to teach them to think themselves instead to repeat everything. If the children hear on television that the Mapuches, for example, are bad people, terrorists who want to kill people and cause damage, they will think that they are actually like that, and if later, in school or kindergarten, a little companion arrives who says openly being a Mapuche, they will begin to discriminate against they simply for having heard they on television. I'm sorry, I want to say discriminate against him simply for having heard they on television. For the same reason, as children, we must begin to teach them what kind of speeches each one is and mainly to respect everyone. And finally, to conclude, we want to let them know that critical discourse analysis, CDA, ends up being a manifestation for the right of expression and communication of minorities. These were silenced within the media, whether in newspapers, television, or radio. These media were handled by the white elites, so if the minorities were not silenced, their speeches were altered. For this reason, CDA arrived to make a change and get those affected by the power to get manifested their rights violated and were also included in the media. Thank you. And now we have a question for you. Have you experienced any situation where you or your friends are silenced for being a minority? Like your opinions or something like that? Thank you so much for listening to us.